Right? The little kids are going, he can't read. Why is he here? All right? Andy Card, Massachusetts guy, walks in as chief of staff, whispers in his ear, and I'll never forget Bush's face. This tells him about 9/11. Okay. Next day, Bush comes out, big press conference. Everybody's there. And, you know, all these deep questions for Bush, and then Bush comes out. So, President, what are you going to do? Please tell us. The nation's looking to you. It's like that song by Paul Simon, Where Have You Gone, Joe DiMaggio? The nation turns its lonely eyes to you. It's the same thing. They turned the lonely eyes to George Bush. They wanted solace. What are you going to do, Mr. President? What are you going to do? What's this all about, Mr. President? What's it all about? Evildoers. Good night, everybody. That was it. That was it. Evildoers, period. What are you going to do? Kill them. We're going to kill the evildoers. Good night. See you later. All right? Now, if you analyze his remarks, this whole press, that was it. That was it. With nothing else. Evildoers, we're going to kill them. Goodbye. All right? Again, Bush, black, white, good, evil. Clinton, Now, people ask me, would Clinton have done the same thing that Bush did in response to 9/11? And the answer is absolutely. No question. The American public demanded quick action. They demanded some kind of payment for that horrendous act. So Clinton would have done the exact same thing. Al Gore would have done the same thing. Barney Fife would have done the same thing. Anybody in there would have done the same thing. The difference is Clinton would have been up all night going, did we misspell Yemen? Was there a camel in 1812 that we took and we didn't pay for? What was this? What happened? Why did they do it? He would have been calling people at the Kennedy School, waking you up in the middle. What happened? Why? Do you have anybody there who can explain it to me? Angst. There would have been angst in between the pizza and the other stuff. Angst. All right? All right? He would have been up all night, policy, talking, everything, all about this. That's Clinton. All right? 10 o'clock, George W. Bush. If you get bin Laden, wake me up. Otherwise, good night. All right? Bush is asleep. He's not up. He doesn't care about Yemen. He doesn't know where Yemen is. All right? Doesn't care. Doesn't know. Don't tell me. I can't pronounce it. All right? But single-minded. Single-minded. This is what we do. All right? This is what we do. So for me, it's more comforting in this situation to have a guy like Bush who's as angry about this as I am. Make no mistake about it, he's angry. He took it personally. All right? And if any of you have timeshares in Baghdad, I'd get out now. All right? Because that guy, Hussein, tried to kill his father. That's what that's all about. All right? So Bush can't allow this to happen. Boom, boom. And sooner or later, he'll knock down those walls and he'll get, you know, if our intelligence agency can ever recover to find out where bin Laden and Mullah Omar are, another scandal, he'll get them. Whereas Clinton would have been, you know, trying to understand, which is perceived, unfortunately, in most of the world as weakness. It's perceived as weakness. You know, one of the heartbreaking things is that Clinton was this far away from getting an Israeli PLO agreement, and he wanted it because he wanted to get the Peace Prize, the Nobel Peace Prize. And Arafat walked away. Insane, because, you know, Barack offered him everything. And Arafat was just afraid that they would assassinate him. That's what's driving Arafat. But he doesn't have any morals. He doesn't care about anybody. He's afraid he's going to get shot in the head if he makes any compromises. So he walked away. And it was just crazy, all right? But if, I believe, Clinton had been, look, Yasser, you know, if he'd taken him to a side and said, you don't sign this GD agreement, I'm going to make sure you get shot in the head. And it ain't going to be by your people. You see? Frighten the damn guy, so he had to do it. Whereas Bush would have sent in Cheney, and Yasser would have went, I'll sign. All right? There's a difference. There's a difference between Madeleine Albright and Colin Powell. There's a difference. I mean, it's no mistake that Dick Cheney is out there every day. Dick Cheney will blow your house up. William Christopher will take you to McDonald's. All right? A different crew. It's a different crew. The tone set by the top. So policy is fine to learn. You should understand it. But it's always the leaders who bring in who they are to implement that policy that makes the difference. All right, so I'll open it for Q&A now, and be gentle, please.
I'm sure they will be. Let me ask you, please, to say who you are, and this is for students and guests, not for the press. We have press people present, but they're not allowed to ask questions. And if you would, please don't make speeches. Just make a quick question, and so we can get as many people on as possible. We'll start with you.
I'm Roger Hosteller. I'm from Georgia. I'm a student here at Harvard. Mr. O'Reilly, this isn't personal, but my problem with your show is that you pretend to be unbiased and consistent, which you absolutely are not. And so I don't think that's very fair for you to go on TV and mislead people in my great state of Georgia who are conservative, but you just get them very angry about the government, which if that's your opinion, that's just fine. But I don't understand how you sleep at night knowing you've caused all this angst in good, hardworking, decent people, and like people from the state of Georgia.
Well, you're absolutely right. I can't sleep. And it's a news analysis program. I analyze the news. It's up front. We tell everybody that it's an opinion-driven program. I have my opinion. We find another opinion that's usually different from mine. We slug it out, and the good people of Georgia can listen and make up their own mind. I mean, it's a very simple formula, and I think we're very fair.
Good evening. My name is Lara Satrakian. I'm a student at the college. I study journalism a lot here at Harvard, and most philosophies of journalism that I've been taught involve looking in the gray area for that truth that is out there. So I'm wondering, under what philosophy of journalism do you justify sticking to the black or the white without exploring the gray area?
Well, the policy of looking at the gray area is fine, but the truth doesn't lie in the gray area. The truth lies in either the black or white area. You're either good or evil. You're either effective or you're not. Now, that oversimplifies it in the sense that some people aren't all evil all the time, some people aren't all good all the time. But the problem that I think you're having in your journalistic classes is, what I do on television is what they do on the op-ed page of the newspapers, okay? That's what I do. I'm a columnist, kind of, and I bring a point of view after looking at the facts, looking at the story, and getting other people's opinions, and I make up my own mind. But if you're always equivocating, you're never, ever going to get to the nub of the story. I'll give you a good example. After 9/11, the Red Cross collected almost $1 billion. Almost $1 billion from generous Americans who wanted to help these 3,000-plus families. All right? Now, 4 weeks later, families were calling me because 29 people in my town on Long Island died. So they were personally telling me, hey, we haven't heard from the Red Cross. We don't know. What's the story? Can you find out? And I said, sure, I'll try my hardest to find out. So we put some people on what Heath Kern used to do. We put some people on the story. And they came back to me and say, absolute chaos. Absolute chaos. They don't know what they're doing. There's no data bank. They collected the money. They're not sending it out. There's an argument within how much money they should send out, how much they keep for themselves. It's drawing interest. These guys are making $350,000 a year. So I smashed them. I smashed them. All right? So, black, white. I decided they weren't doing the job. Now, I could have been in the gray area and said, well, maybe a little more time, maybe this, maybe that, blah, 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 blah. All right? That, number one, is death for a journalist to do. And number two, doesn't get anything done. We got them to turn $350 million more over to the families because we pounded on them. All right? That's the way I operate.
My name is Bill McCamley. I'm a student here at the Kennedy School from Las Cruces, New Mexico, and I'm sorry I don't own a tux. You talked about an aggressive FBI and how if we would have had an aggressive FBI, we might have caught these guys before they did the 9/11 stuff. I see your point, but in your opinion, at what point in time does having an aggressive police force, FBI, whatever, cross the line into breaking people's civil rights and really going against what the Constitution stands for in the terms of rights and liberties that we as Americans really hold very dear?
Look, I mean, there are always going to be abuses in law enforcement, and you have even though the FBI has been timid for the last decade, there's still abuses. I mean, they still do stuff they shouldn't do, but you have to adopt an overall tone. I mean, I'm a big civil liberties guy, and I don't want people spying on me, but I also want sanity. I want sanity, not political correctness. Political correctness is death in journalism, in government, in social areas, because it's thought that goes with the pack, not, hey, we might have a problem here. A guy wants to learn how to fly, but he doesn't want to take off and land. I mean, you follow a guy like that, okay? You don't just say, oh, no evidence of a crime. Come on. Come on. You know? I mean, we have a right to be protected. We're paying these people salaries up there. What are they doing all day? What did Janet Reno do all day? Well, we can't investigate that. I'm sorry. We can't look into that. What are you doing?
Hi, I'm Reginald Nabark. I'm a fellow here at Harvard, and I wonder, I question, sometimes I hear from some people that your racial standpoints are skewed.
Skewed?
Skewed, one-sided. Maybe to
but
one
you haven't
particular
seen
race.
this for yourself.
I think I have.
Right. All I want to know is what you've seen.
I see you bring up the point of reparations in your show often, and I see you bring it up to most of the times to people who are not prepared with enough data. I rarely see you bring a colleague here from Harvard, Ogletree, or West, or Gates, or
No, we have West on all the time.
for that specific issue.
Yeah, we talk to West about it.
But I never see you specifically present the fact that, first of all, or even think about, or if you say you're playing two sides of the story and you're just looking for the truth, I never see you play another point and try to act objective to the point that...
Hold it. Number one, I'm never objective. I'm a news analyst, all right? News analysts aren't objective by their very nature. Number two, you're not watching enough, and you got to watch every night. Number three, I'm against reparations, okay? Now, you're not going to like me probably because I'm against reparations. But I say this, look, if African Americans get reparations from the government, okay, then everybody has to get them. Native Americans have to get them. Chinese Americans have to get them. I have to get a whole bunch of stuff in the Crown, all right? So I'm saying we all acknowledge slavery was bad. It hurt African Americans. It continues to hurt them to this day. All right? We all acknowledge that. But by giving you or anybody else a check, you do more damage than good. It's simply not fair. We're going to give reparations to every Union soldier's family that was killed trying to free the slaves. Are we going to do that? So that's my point of view. You may disagree with my point of view, and I respect it. But we always have a guest opposite me who puts forth, I'm for reparations, and this is why. If you don't think they're that good, give Heath a call. We'll get you on, and, we'll see how you go.
James Emerson, Harvard Law School, Los Angeles, California. Mr. O'Reilly, tonight and on your program, you've been critical of how the charities have handled the fund distribution related to September 11th. I would like to know what personal charitable service you've done in the past year. When you came to the law school last year, you spoke to us about how you had been a very dedicated big brother. I'd like to hear the first names of the children you so faithfully served. And also, I'd like to hear more about your personal service other than just throwing a pocketbook in the direction of charities.
Okay. Number one, I'm not going to give you any names, and I'm not going to answer the question. And here's why. Personally attacking me, all right, or trying to trap me into, coming down and telling you how much money I make, what money I give, and all of this, has nothing to do with what I do, all right? If you want to reject... Wait. If you want to reject my contention that charities didn't act the way they should have, you're free to do that. My personal life has nothing to do with that, all right? I never answer personal questions. I never will, because it's a game you can't win. Why would I do that? That's insane.
What charitable service do you do?
Plenty. But I'm not going to tell you what it is.
Hi, Bill. My name is Bo Breeze. I'm a senior here at Harvard University. I am from Long Beach, California. And my question is this. You've made it clear that you do news analysis as distinct from pure reporting. And I'm curious to know if you believe that the reason the media in general, newspapers, news magazines, mainstream news, live news, has lost a lot of its credibility in the eyes of the public is because of its failure to make a distinction between pure objective